Last time we learned about snare drum, so this time we're going to learn about marimba. Do you remember the 7 checkpoints from snare drum?
Yes.
Do you want to try and tell them to me? You don't have to, but...
The balance point.
Is for snare drum, it's a pivot point.
Pivot point.
It's okay if you don't remember them.
Your fingers like this, and then like resting. I don't know.
Okay, so the first one is the pivot point. On snare drum, it was a third of the way on the stick. On mallets, it's going to be about halfway, and we're not going to call it a pivot point on mallets. We're going to call it a balance point. You were saying your fingers are the same. Your first fingers are the same. That's called your fulcrum. Your fulcrum is the same. It's going to be the first 2 fingers. Then we're going to have our back fingers. And how were the back fingers on snare drum? Do you remember?
Just resting.
Well, on mallets, they're going to be a little bit tighter because we have this thing called artificial rebound. Whereas on the snare drum, when you hit it, or on the drum pad, when you hit, it comes right back up automatically. Well, on a keyboard instrument, it doesn't do that. It's going to want to stay there. So what we're going to do is we're going to engage the back fingers a little bit more, and we're going to try and like force it to come back up. Fulcrum, back fingers, then our palms for snare drum were 45, were parallel like this, but we're going to make it a little bit more relaxed, and we're going to have it about 45 degrees for the keyboard. The heel of hand where the shaft of the stick comes out, the butt of the stick comes out, it's going to be the same as it was on snare drum, so it's going to be right about here. And then for instrument height, it's going to be this, you want it to be about the same as it is on snare drum, but adjusting keyboards is a lot harder, so we usually just leave them and just deal with the height. Our elbows, we want to be relaxed. We want our wrists to be pinky length away from the instrument, like this. So you put your pinkies on the keys and like this. And then lastly is, for our rebounds, we start high and high. So we start at the same point, and then when we go down and come back up, it's the same point too. So we do that, and that helps with our artificial rebound. This is like our full stroke from down top, all the way down, all the way back up, is the full stroke. And with our artificial rebound, we do it this way to help build fluidity, and so that's how we make it lift off the instrument. So show me how you're gonna hold it. Yes, that's good. Make sure your feet are shoulder width apart. That doesn't change. Okay. So there's the bar here, and you see at the top of the bar and at the bottom of the bar there is strings that come out.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to play there because that's called a node, and a node is when you hit it, it doesn't ring. So see how like it doesn't really ring, but when you hit more towards the center, it rings and it's louder. That's where it's most resonant. So that's where we're gonna hit. We always want to hit in the center of the bars. So what we're gonna do first is we're gonna learn just how to hit a note. So make sure you do your 7 checkpoints. You get your pinky length away. You start high and you end high. So you start up here and you go all the way back up. You go down, back up, and it's not gonna go all the way back up on its own. You have to bring it back up. So go ahead and try it. It doesn't necessarily have to be fast right now, since the tempo is going to be super slow. But when the tempo goes faster, you're gonna want to move up away from the note a little bit faster. So try moving a little bit faster. Okay, you want to make sure that the mallet heads are going to be close together. Like, see how mine are kind of close together, and then they go like this, like they're kissing, like they're friends. Yeah, and then you don't want it to be like that. You want it to be the same height. Okay, so we're gonna start our first little learning thing. Is we're gonna play 8 with the one hand and 8 with another hand, and we're just we can stop in between. We're going to do it at 60. So I'll show you how it goes first, and then you can do it, okay? And then your left hand. Okay, now you try. That was good. Did you hear on the last hand, the second to last note was really quiet compared to all the other ones? You just didn't hit, you like barely touched it. You didn't actually like hit the key. And I was noticing when you were working on your right hand, especially, I think it's just because of the side I was on, your right hand, it sometimes will only go here and sometimes will go too far, and very rarely will they be right next to each other. So, I'll do 4 again. I won't do the full 8. I'll just do 4, and then you can show me how to do it again. Okay? Okay. Now you do it.
You want me to do 4 or 8?
You can do 8, but make sure you're really focusing on making sure your mallet heads are relatively close together at the top. Don't rush. This hand, try and turn this hand in a little more. That might help. And maybe try turning that hand in just a little bit too. I notice it seems like your hands are kind of almost going, yeah, like kind of like that. So try again. That was better. Did it feel a little bit more comfortable? Yeah. Now I'm gonna teach you the alternating stroke. Do you remember how we did alternating on snare drum? It was left, right, left, right. Well, this is the same thing on keyboard. So when you do it, you want to make sure that you're aware of how high your rebound is coming. So you always want to make sure that they come back up to the exact same height. Okay, when you're doing your left hand, I notice that you're using a lot of arm motion. So just try and do just from your wrist. So try and focus and not like taking your arm and going like that. That's exaggerated, but just using your wrist and going like that. Or stop. Your hands are gonna be, they're too low right now. Stick your pinkies out. And you can maybe raise your hands. I don't know, but raise your wrists maybe just a little bit more. Okay. Well, maybe not. You want to be relaxed. Okay. Go ahead. Okay. Put your hands down. And bring your mallets up. You see how your mallets are not at the same height? Your right one was lower than... Excuse me. Thank you. Was higher than your left, or lower than your left. You want them to be the same. Yeah, you always gotta remember that. Don't forget. Okay, do alternating again. That was a lot better. Did you think? Did you just were you concentrating really hard and trying to get them to be at the same? Okay, we're gonna put it at 80 and we're gonna do the same thing. I'll play it for you first. Just keep going until I tell you to stop. And really focus on that mallet's returning to the exact same place. Okay. So, sometimes when you're going with your right, you're not... or with your left, it sounds a lot weaker than your right. So when you're going, try and think about, like, not necessarily hitting it harder, but getting an even sound with both hands. So when you play, it sounds kind of like this. And that's exaggerated, but again, just try and focus on making them even, like... Okay, that was a lot better, wasn't it? Did you think that it sounded like they were about the same volume each time?
Yeah.
All right, so that's what I want you to work on for next time. Is just try and really focusing on making sure they return to the same height and that they sound the same volume each time. All right. Thank you.